Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to a unexpected live stream here at Reindel's Computer Service. Well, first things first, I thought I would just state that I just got a bulletin from County of Manitowoc Emergency Service Division, Director Travis Wack, and that is spelled TRAVISWAACK. And one of the interesting things in the bulletin was that a lot of stuff is starting to come around and open back up for sure. As of May 13th and 14th, a lot of the Catholic churches will be opening back up in the area. I know St. Michael's in Whitelaw will be officially opening back up in June on the 13th and 14th. So, unfortunately, I was communicating with the pastor of that church, and he was saying that they're going to be doing social distancing, unfortunately. And from what I've observed, that church, a lot of those people that go there already, they never really sat on top of each other anyway. A lot of them were always spaced apart. And so I don't really think social distancing in that church is a big concern. Besides, it's not like they're sitting 2 inches away from each other. It's even when I go to church services, I don't like to sit that close to people anyway. I like to have like a little bit of room on both sides. So, but the other thing that the Diocese of Green Bay is forcing the Catholic churches around here to do is they're forcing them to wear masks, and they're forcing them to use hand sanitizer, and they're forcing the elders of the church and the clergy to disinfect all the pews. Bathrooms, I can see that, but the problem with the pews is I am one of those employees that have to actually do that. And to my discovery, a lot of those caustic chemicals. Well, let me bring something over that we'll be using. So this is basically what they wanted us to be using. I bought a bunch of this for the office here. But this stuff is not good for finish because it'll pull the varnish right off of wooden surfaces. So if you're on the staff of a church and they want you to use this as a means of disinfecting the pews or surfaces that people touch, be very careful how you use it. Do it on a test spot where nobody's going to notice, because I pulled off a little bit of varnish off of a pew, and thank God I did it on the bottom side, because if it was on the top side, I would have got my keister handed to me for blemishing a finish. So test it on a piece of wood that is not critical, because this stuff is more potent than meets the eyes. This is stuff that you can get at Menards. It is inside. It's ready to use disinfectant cleaner, multi-duistin fungicide, non-food contact sanitizer, Vaxxedide deodorizer, kills 99.9% of bacteria. And no, this is not exactly for COVID-19, if anybody's curious, but this is kind of pricey. It's about $8 a bottle, and then for a gallon, it's about $15 a gallon. It smells awful when you use it, but it does the trick. And if you got OSHA people or any agencies coming through, they will just give you a pat on the back and say, "Well done, you did your job." I'm being sarcastic. They're not really going to come in and tell you, "Well job for using this." They're just going to tell you to. And the thing with the masks is, according to Travis Wack, because he was on WOMT radio the other day, and he was saying there's two grades of mask. There's one that's those cheap, flimsy masks that you like when you're going to Menards and they force you to put one on. According to him, he's the expert here in Manitowoc County. I'm quoting quoting what he said. Those paper masks, they're not going to protect you from catching any illnesses or germs. They're only meant for like in doctors' offices and clinics, and they're not meant to be worn out in public. They're not meant to be worn all the time. They're so paper thin. All the germs in that are still going to spread through it. So don't even waste your time with those. And the other masks, like I think the B95s or something, the problem is they're so thick. And when you wear those things, you're creating enough carbon monoxide that you could actually asphyxiate yourself and cause real fatal health conditions for yourself. So do yourself a favor, skip the masks. You'll thank me later. You don't need them. They don't do anything anyway. The only thing that the masks are good for is keeping the dust down. Like if you're cutting grass or if you're sanding plaster and painting or something, or if you're doing construction work like gutting a room or something, yeah, then put a mask on. But to wear one out in public, according to Travis Wack, they don't really do much of anything. So as I look at it, it's more of a feel good thing, if you get my gist. And what I mean by that is it's the kind of thing that it makes people feel good for wearing a mask when you really don't need it. And for all these people to, well, basically, the bottom line is if you're that afraid to be out in public where you have to have a mask on, and then you get all angry and bent out of shape by people who aren't wearing masks, if you're that afraid, stay home. If you think you're going to get sick, stay home then. But don't be out in public harassing other people that don't have masks on. If you don't want to be out in public, then stay home. Don't force everybody else to live in fear because you live in fear. If you want to have a pity party for yourself, go ahead. But just don't do it out in public and don't scream and rant at people that don't have masks on. People are sick and tired of living in seclusion and living in isolation. People want to get out and about. They want to go places. They want to go out to eat. They want to go to the bars. They want to go to church. They want to go to the clubs. They want to go exercising. And not at 6 feet away either. So, for those of you out there, and even for people that tell me to put a mask on, or it wouldn't kill you to wear a mask all the time, for those of you people out there that say that if you're that afraid to catch the germs, then don't go in public. Just stay at home then if you're that worried about it. Or if you're really sick, stay home. But those of us that want to live our lives like normal people, we're gonna go out. We're gonna do impact or keep our day as busy as possible. We're gonna go places, do things, be on the road all day. being in and out of stores, being in and out of museums and establishments. We're not going to hunker down and wail and complain and moan about COVID-19. We're not going to play this game. Sure, the government would love it if we just sat there and surrendered our rights away, but we're not doing that. We're gonna move forward. We're gonna just carry on business like you normally would. So enough on that rant for tonight or this morning. So basically, the bottom line is what I'm trying to get at is there's a few people out there that don't have any faith in God, and those are the people that want to hunker down and want everybody else to live in fear. And it's just, I hate to spoil their fun, but people are waking up to what's going on in America and around the world, and people aren't going to tolerate that. But even the thing that shames me the most is that like the diocese that like Green Bay, Milwaukee, that they want everybody to live in fear. And I'm not talking fearing God. I'm talking they want everybody to fear the coronavirus. I'm not looking at this from a excruciatingly religious way. What I'm trying to say is all those people that are in the diocese and all the priests and pastors that are in the diocese, they should be worried about their people getting to heaven, not worried about them catching the coronavirus. And they shouldn't be worrying about if people are wearing masks or not, or if they're using hand sanitizer after everything they touch, or worrying about pews and germs and stuff. If you're a true believer in God, you don't worry about that stuff. All the priests should be worried about is seeing that their flock makes it to salvation and goes to heaven. It's not about the best Lysol and the best Purell hand sanitizer. It's not about that. So I hope Green Bay and Milwaukee get it in their head that, for crying out loud, even your evangelical churches are at full fledged at this point. A lot of your Pentecostal churches are at full fledged at this point, and I gotta give them a lot of credit for not standing down and lying down and just giving up and telling the government, okay, we'll give up, we'll let you take our rights away. It's just that's something you don't want to do that. You don't want to give in to the government because the next time they want to close the church and shut it down, it'll be for even a sillier reason. So, and another thing that we're going to cover real quick is if your insurance company forces you to get tested for COVID, it's time to look for a different insurance because the insurance company is trying to put you in fear, and you don't want to buy into the fear game. So if your insurance company is forcing you to get tested, or if they're recommending it, just blow them off. Don't get tested, because if you go and get tested, you will test positive, because all those COVID tests are all tainted. Because if you can test an orange and an orange tests positive, or you can test a goat and a goat tests positive, It's not a. You can't tell me that oranges get COVID and goats get COVID. So basically, like I said, your insurance company forces you into it. Drop them. Get somebody else. And if they do that, it's not. We're not living in communist America here. We're living in a democracy, and it's not against the law not to have insurance, but there will be complications if you don't have insurance. You won't have you'll have to pay for everything out of pocket and stuff like that. But in some cases, when it comes to being forced to be tested for COVID, sometimes it's just worth not having the insurance over that reasoning. And a lot of people out there think I'm not the only one that thinks like this. I got a network of friends and colleagues that I'm working with at this time, not actually in computers so much, but in the congregation that I belong into. That they're on the same page that I am. They know what's going on. They're not falling for this crap. So, and even another thing that I would highly advise against is if they tell you that there's going to be a mandated vaccine, you shouldn't take it because you don't know what's in the vaccine. And there's a good. It's not even a conspiracy theory, but there's just a theory that all the flu vaccinations that they've been forcing people to take for the last 10 years, a lot of those people are going to test positive because of all the crap that they put in those vaccines. Like 50, 60, 70 years ago, you didn't have all those vaccines. But it's bad enough that the Bill Gates Foundation and Melinda Gates, well, if nobody's heard this by now, Bill Gates has officially been banned from India. He's been banned from Africa, certain countries in Africa and Asia because of the injections. Basically, he's sterilizing women and little girls over in those countries. This is not made up. There's a source document from, and I will even tell you what that link is. I just have to look in my email account. Let me put it this way. Bill Gates is corrupt, and so is Melinda Gates. This is one I got from my aunt. So this is under Queen of Media Peace. It's on YouTube. It's called COVID-19, seeing something fishy is going on here. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I would highly advise watching it. There's a lot of valuable information on some of the stuff I was discussing. So, and let's see we'll go to Queen of Media. So there's about, I would say there's over a couple hundred videos here worth of stuff going on. And it's not all political stuff either. A lot of it's stuff to do with, well, I would highly recommend watching the COVID-19 scene as something fishy's going on. And then discussing ourselves from, or distancing ourselves from problems. That one had some interesting content. So there's 2 great videos on that site that will tell you what's going on. And then okay, let's see if okay, yeah, that's pretty much everything that actually there's another.
Hello and welcome to this episode.
So this is another one. This is part of the COVID-19 series that was on the well, this is LifeSite News. This is a totally different channel. This is Scott HAN on whether COVID-19 is a punishment from God, the John Henry Weston show. I highly advise watching that. There's a lot of great information on there. It is about 47 minutes long, but and then if you also watch some of Dr. Rodney Howard Brown's videos from the last few weeks on the stuff with lockdown and COVID and other interesting stuff. And then if you check out Jonathan Shuttleworth, he's the evangelist from Philadelphia, or Pennsylvania rather. He's got a lot of interesting stuff. And then he has a few guest appearances on there then with other people. It's really interesting. So take some time, check some of that stuff out. Like and subscribe to them. I got a bundle of information. And even check out Gabe the Street Preacher on some of the stuff. He's got interesting information as well. So I hope you all have a safe Sunday morning, and God bless everybody and stay safe. Enjoy the beautiful weather that we're currently having right now, nice and crisp and cool in here in Wisconsin anyway. But we will see us very soon. Take care.